All right, the city council is now called to order. Call the roll. There's nobody here besides me. All right, well, all the members that are here in the building, that are within earshot, please come on down so we can begin.
Members of the council, we're still waiting for 3 for a quorum, and I'm not sure whether we're going to have that quorum or not, but we have some special presentations. And if everyone please come to order, I'm going to ask Councilman Hernandez to make a very special presentation.
Did you need this? Did you need this as well? The information on the weekend stuff?
Mr. President, members of the council, I stand before you today to make a presentation, I think, on behalf of the entire council. You know, a lot of us tend to forget the importance of our world when we talk about our environment, because we're in a city of basically what sometimes I've been known to describe as cement and automobiles. And then the reality is the city of Los Angeles has 680,000 trees on its streets, but as well as 850,000 trees in its parks. And we're here to celebrate Arbor Day. It's a celebration that was established for March the 7th in honor of horticulturist Luther Burbank's birthday. And so I'd like to call up, I guess they're already here, Mr. George Gonzalez, to make a presentation on behalf of the city. And you know, when we talk about our trees, I have seen a tremendous difference of interest, not only from our staff, because the city staff is doing a tremendous job. I know that Councilwoman Misikowski, who asked me to make this presentation on her behalf, basically has been conducting special hearings, because the citizens of the city of Los Angeles have taken a real special interest on our trees. And whether we're talking about the Cool Schools program that was started with the Department of Water and Power, or we're talking about the community-based organizations that are working with our trees, or we're talking about our city staff, what we're now beginning to do is recognize trees as living beings who basically protect our environment, work on the air quality, but also on the beauty of our city. And it's my pleasure to be here today and recognize this very important day of Arbor Day. What you need to know is we're going to be having a celebration at Griffith Park with the Department of Recreation and Parks from 12 to 4 on March the 6th, Saturday. And that's at 3401 Riverside Drive. There's going to be a tree planting, educational booths, fun and games for the children, live entertainment, tree trimmers events, and again, much more. And so before I make this presentation, I just thought it was kind of awkward, because this morning I wake up and I say a few words of prayer. And with those words, for whatever reason, we're talking about were the fact that if you take this stone that's cracked, and for some reason a seedling kind of falls in it, it still grows. And as it grows and it's battered by the winds, the reality is its bark changes and it struggles to survive. But for some reason its tips continue to find some greenery. And at some point, a human being takes that symbol and makes it a feeling of serenity. And see, our trees represent so much to our children, so much to Angelenos, that us being able to recognize their importance to our culture and to our city is extremely important, and those people who do the work. And so I have George Gonzalez here, who basically is the chief forester for the Street Tree Division. And I know you're not Kevin Rogan.
George Steigel.
But we have George Steigel from the Department of Recreation and Parks, who's also present, and we want to make this presentation to them.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
You want to say a few words?
Yeah. Thank you very much, and I want to thank the City Council for awarding us with this recognition. And this is the 14th year in a row that the City of Los Angeles has been recognized by the Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree City USA. That's a great accomplishment. It's only a small percentage of cities become recognized as a Tree City USA, and we've had that privilege to be recognized such for the last 14 years. And recently there's been a lot of discussion about the state of the urban forest, and I'm confident that those discussions are going to come out to improving the urban forest for us and our future our children in the future. And again, I thank you, and I urge you all to attend the Arbor Day celebration tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Invite your family, your friends, and have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Also, on behalf of the Department of Recreation and Parks, we'd like to invite all of you and all the residents of Los Angeles to Griffith Park tomorrow from 12 to 4 for this fantastic event. This is the second year that the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Bureau of Street Services have had the opportunity to collaborate to bring this event to the citizens of Los Angeles. We have some really great things for the kids, so come out tomorrow, everybody in Los Angeles, enjoy the festivities, and meet Smokey the Bear, of course. Have a great time.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick for a special presentation.
Come on, stand close. Good morning, Mr. President, colleagues. I'm very pleased that this special city employee at my side, Gwendolyn Duyao, was not able to receive her Career Service Award the other day, along with some of her colleagues in other city departments, and so we get to really put the spotlight on her today. She's worked for the fire department for 25 of her 29 years with the city. And when I look at you, I'm trying to figure out how old you must have been, maybe about 12 when you started.
You're right.
Over the years, besides performing her functions as a city employee in an outstanding way, she has played a very, very active role in a variety of really humane and important undertakings that the city gets involved with. For instance, the American Cancer Society and the March of Dimes programs. But most importantly, perhaps, she's been a member of the fire department's stress management program since its creation 11 years ago. She served as its secretary and the past 7 years as the program coordinator. This is a program when members of the department, as they so often do, become involved in or witness a critical accident or an emergency event that involves injury and danger, an ongoing occurrence for our firefighters and paramedics. She makes certain that those members of the fire department receive the support they need in order to help them overcome any emotional trauma and stress. She is an asset, Gwendolyn Duyao, to our city workforce and very much deserves our congratulations and this Career Service Award. And I would like to have, as I present this to you, Chief Pamatre say a few words, and then Gwendolyn, I think, would like to introduce her family and friends who are here with her.
Thank you, Councilmember Chick. It's almost an irony that we're here to honor Gwen for her employment as a city employee, for her work in a job environment, because she really brings so much more. She makes a place of employment a place of enjoyment, and it's the personal time that she takes to deal with all of us on the fire department, and you can see by the number of members that are here to support her in this award and to share in the celebration of this award. Gwen is a very special person, and I'll just use a quick story just to highlight how she's the person that will always jump in. Over the last weekend, we had the Women in the Fire Service conference here, and the day before the conference began, the woman that was in charge of the daycare center was involved in a car accident, and they needed somebody to take care of the daycare center. Gwen stepped forward and spent 3 days from 8 in the morning to 11 at night with a number of kids from across the country, firefighters, children, and that's the type of person that she is, and it's somebody that has been a real blessing for the department. And since she does see, how do I say this gracefully, carry her age so well, we're not going to let her retire when she gets to her 30 years. But Gwen, thank you very much for all.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you very much to my immediate staff, the Chief of Staff, Chief John Ware, Emil Mack, my boss, and captains in the planning section for respecting what I do for the nomination. And for all my friends that are here today, people that I'm very close to, they're not just friends, they're part of my family. And my immediate family's here, my son, Brandon, my mother, Gertrude Valera, and my husband in the corner, Larry Duyal. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations from all of us. Well deserved. Thank you, Ms. Chick. That's really nice. You're next. Yeah, I just. All right. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Galanter for 2 special presentations.
Mr. President and members, it's my very great pleasure today to introduce to you again and to recognize again our very own Los Angeles Shakespeare Festival, which is actually called Shakespeare Festival LA, in case you want to, but you know, we think Los Angeles is just as important as Shakespeare. Well, I don't know, we'll talk about that later. I have with me this morning Ben Donnenberg and Danielle Bedeau, whom you have all met before, and also Sheldon, who's making his first appearance as part of the Shakespeare Festival. Is it his first appearance? Probably. This is his debut as part of the Shakespeare Festival family. And you can tell that he's fascinated by the entire experience here. Our Shakespeare Festival, as you know, is not only produces tried and true classic drama, but they also engage in a whole bunch of really wonderful, innovative programs. The performances are free to the public. They are performed in different parts of the city. You may remember that last summer they did Julius Caesar on the steps of City Hall. It was the last thing to happen in City Hall before the restoration shut it down entirely. It seemed like the perfect place for the Friends, Romans, Countrymen speech. They also run a perfectly wonderful program I had the opportunity to visit in my district a couple of years ago called Willpower to Youth, in which they pay young people to spend 6 weeks engaged both in the study of Shakespeare and in a whole human relations, intergroup relations process. And the effect on these kids is really phenomenal. I was able to attend one of the workshops in the first week of the program, and then go back and see the play at the end of the program and talk to some of the young people who participated. And a lot of these kids were people who were having trouble in school, they were having trouble with their families, they felt absolutely worthless. Some of their families thought it was very peculiar indeed that what they had chosen to do was study Shakespeare instead of something that was going to bring them a good job and a lot of money. But by the end of the 6 weeks or 8 weeks, they had discovered in themselves the ability to do things they never thought they would be able to do, and they also had discovered that they'd gotten to like a lot of people they never thought they were going to get to like. And the effect on our community of bringing together the cultural benefits of learning something that's been taught now for several hundred years, and at the same time learning to get along together and to work together and to discover in yourself that you can learn new things, you can stand up in front of a group of people and perform. You can do it without forgetting your lines sometimes. I forget mine occasionally, that's why I'm not in Shakespeare. It's really a wonderful contribution to our entire community, and so I actually have here 3 certificates, 2 of which look remarkably the same. No, I have 3 certificates. I have a commendation for the Shakespeare Festival LA, which of course they will have to share with everybody who's involved in Shakespeare Festival LA. You get to hold all of them because he's got Sheldon.
Thank you.
And then I have 1 each for Danny Bedeau, who has been recognized particularly for her work in bringing the Willpower to Youth program to us and making it work. And to Ben Donnenberg, who started the whole show,
and continues to run it and somehow manages, as you see, still to smile through all the trials and tribulations. You guys are doing a wonderful thing for the city of LA, and we are so proud to have you here and to encourage you to keep up the good work. Train the young actor here. He's got very good attention span, I see this. We wanted to present you with certificates of appreciation for each of you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me just also say first, Ms. Glander, I've watched this program since its inception, and it's really an amazing contribution to our city, and it looks like Ben is making sure that there's going to be a line of succession to carry this on long after all of us, so congratulations to all of you. You do great work for the city.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to, on behalf of the Willpower to Youth program, thank you, Councilmember Galanter, and all of the council members for this recognition. It's with the support of the City Council and the Community Development Department and its Summer Youth Employment Program, and with the sponsorship of Shakespeare Festival LA and the National Conference for Community and Justice, that the Willpower to Youth staff is able to have the privilege of interacting with over 275 Los Angeles area youth who are living at or below the federal poverty level. And we've had the privilege of providing them with, as Ruth mentioned, with wages and with 5 credits towards their high school graduation. We've had the privilege of engaging them in activities that ask them to confront their stereotypes, the stereotypes that they have about each other and about us. And
about Shakespeare.
And about Shakespeare, which, right. In fact, we've had the privilege of engaging them in exposing them to, very often for the first time, the transformational power of the theater, which Councilmember Glander spoke about, through the timeless work of William Shakespeare. And we are extremely grateful to you, and we're privileged to have the means to make an impact on the lives of young people in this city. So thank you very much.
400 years ago, William Shakespeare said that the purpose of playing was and is to hold the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time, its form and pressure. For 16 years, the Shakespeare Festival has been, with the support of all of the people in this room, holding a mirror up to nature that is diverse, that is dynamic, that is exciting, that is challenging, and is a mirror that can reflect all aspects of human nature. It has been a privilege. We started 16 years ago under the stewardship of a woman named Ethel Narvit, and I know that Ethel would be extremely pleased today, and in our hearts stands with me as I receive this from City Council. And as we move forward to the year 2000 and beyond, we are working very hard to provide the people of Los Angeles, with your help, an arts organization that can prove demonstrably that the arts are contributing tangibly to this city. We have collected over $1 million worth of food for homeless people instead of charging admission. We have been a conduit for over 1,500 hours of graded credits for kids living in the most challenging situations. We have directed over $350,000 of wages into the poverty sector. More than 150,000 people have seen our shows, and more than 100,000 families have benefited from the food program. So we're proud, we're grateful. We promise to keep doing what we have been doing, and I want to thank each and every council member who has touched our organization over the past 16 years to make this possible, and thank Councilmember Galanter for choosing to honor us today. Thank you.
Don't leave yet, with your pictures in the back. Okay, Fred, now, bring everybody up. Sure, why not? After you drag them to a council meeting, they're certainly going to participate. That's okay. Listen, my mom's 95. Take your time. Well, I hope so. Okay, we got everybody? Get up where you can see whether you're being seen on there or not. Mr. President and members of the council, I hate to do this. You have no idea how I hate to do this. Fred Herrera, who may not be everybody's favorite city employee, but he's a lot of people's favorite city employee, has decided to retire. And it's a great pleasure to honor Fred. It's really hard to say goodbye to him. I don't know about the staffs in your council offices, but the people in my office are absolutely devastated. They have all complained to me about the fact that you're retiring. This is not to be permitted. I'm supposed to do something about it, right? Fred has been with the City of Los Angeles for over 26 years. He's had a number of jobs at the Department of Water and Power, and he's become the person you call when you need to get something straightened out and something fixed. He's brought, as you heard him say, and as you can see, he's brought his whole family with him today so that we can tell all of you how much we appreciate him and appreciate the time that you haven't had him because we've been working him so hard. Fred has done a number of interesting things in his job. He even had to go on television with me. Remember that? Oh, yeah. And that was kind of a new experience for you at the time, I think. He's done all of the things that he has had to do for the city well, conscientiously, with great dedication, and with a lot of good humor and charm and friendliness. And would that we could say that about everybody in the world and that we wouldn't have any arguments over anything. And in his spare time, besides spending time with his family, he's also been involved in a number of different community organizations. He was actually born in Mexico, but he moved here when he was 1 year old. He's a graduate, you'll be pleased to know, of Belmont High School. You didn't go to, did you go to Belmont High School? It's a high school, it's, yeah, near and dear to your heart. Well, it's in Mr. Hernandez's district. He went on to get a degree from East Los Angeles College, and then he came to work for us, and he's done all those things that I've talked to you about, and he's remained involved in his community, and he's just been recognized as Man of the Year by the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce. And that was very wise of them. So, as I say, it's with great sadness that I say goodbye to Fred Herrera, and that we all do, but we have been very lucky to have him here as part of our city family, and we hope that just because you're not going to come to work every day anymore, you're going to be out having a good time, that we can still count on your community involvement. Absolutely. And your friendship and all the rest of that. It's been wonderful having you here. I want to wish you all the best and congratulate you on all your fine service and tell you not to leave.
Thank you, Ruth.
This is for you, signed by everybody on the council, because nobody wanted to be left out.
This is beautiful.
Want to say something? New experience every day.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you for this this recognition, and I'm sure you all know this is just a reminder. You've got great staff out there. My job was putting out fires and dealing with problems, and they were endless. And your staff was always courteous, understanding, professional, and compassionate for your constituents, and you're very well represented out there. And I'm happy to have been a part of that. You know, as we go through our jobs, one problem comes up after another. You deal with it, you move to the next, and you always wonder if you did it right. You know, you hope people are happy and satisfied with the results. And you're telling me I did it right. I really appreciate this, and thank you.
We're
very
not
much.
going to let you go first, Mr. Councilman Alciori. I'd like to say a few
Mr.
words.
President, members, as one of the beneficiaries of Fred's great work, I just wanted to thank him for the great work that he has done for so many years. He has done a lot of work in the northeastern part of Los Angeles out of my office in Eagle Rock, and the people of that community are most appreciative. Anything that my staff has ever asked and there's ever been a concern, he has always been there. And it is truly a loss for the city, but his family deserves more consideration. After 26 and a half years of dedicated work to the city, now it's time for them to reap the benefits of the great work that he has done. And I just want to thank him on behalf of my staff for everything that he has done. He's always been a gentleman, and he's always been a man of his word. And what else can you ever ask for of any individual? And I thank you very much, Fred, for everything you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you, and good luck to you.
Yeah, wait. As long as we brought them here, we're going to introduce Fred's family.
If I may,
Yeah, is my button working?
It's not on. I'm
It's yellow
sorry.
on my screen, so, I'm sorry, I just couldn't let Mr. Herrera get away from us without me saying a few words. Fred, I knew Fred Herrera before I was in public office. And when I say that, is you got to understand, in the community of Lincoln Heights in particular, he is one of the institutions. He's one of the people who's been there all the time. And it wasn't just with the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce. It was in regards to not only the business community, but the Boys and Girls Club. Very few people would think this was a city employee. Well, and when I'm saying that, it's like he was very much a part of that community and dedicating his time to that community and getting involved in projects. And he's something that the city should be very proud of. When there was a lot of concerns in terms of the Department of Water and Power, of course, people talked to Fred, and that was his role. He also became part of the liaison operation with my office, and I appreciated the work he did there. But I'll always know Fred as a community person. And I want people to know that from my perspective, he's very much a part of that community. He made things happen there, and I think that he's still going to be there. But the realities are, he was one of our civil servants, someone we should be proud of as a city employee for the work that he did in getting the community to understand that the city is part of that community. But again, thank you for your work, Fred.
I don't think we're letting him retire from community work.
Yeah.
I'll still be around.
Okay, now you can.
I'd like to introduce and thank my family. First of all, my mother, Andrea. Thanks for all your help, Mom, in taking care of me. My son, Eric. My wife, Diana. My son, Michael, here. And that's my sister in the back, Angie. And this is our adopted brother, Tony Provenzano, also a department retiree. Thank you again. I'm going to cherish this and the memories.
These retirees are looking younger and younger. This is really a problem.
You know what it is, Joel? We're getting old.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Glander. Call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Vorn, Swax, Walters, Farrell, 11 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
All right, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, the minutes are approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Commendatory resolutions for
Unanimous vote.
approval. On the regular agenda, we have item number 7, confirmation of city official. The mayor's reappointment of Christine Robert.
All right, would Ms. Robert come forward, please? Mr. Swornich?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Commissioner Christine Robert has been before the HCR committee of last week, and I wholeheartedly and enthusiastically ask you for your aye vote to reappoint the commissioner. She has done a wonderful job representing a wide diverse of interests on the Redevelopment Agency Board, and I believe that her continuing to serve the city would be in the best interest of the people of the city of Los Angeles, and I would ask for your aye vote.
And I gladly second that. Is there any discussion? Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
Unanimously approved.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss,
Congratulations,
members of
Chris.
the council. Thank you.
Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Items noticed for public hearing, items number 1 through 4.
All right. Let me have that card back, excuse me. Item number 1 is a public hearing, and there is a request to be heard. Margaret Taylor. Is Taylor here?
Yes, Councilman, I am only here to answer questions as needed.
All right. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council on this item? If not, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion? Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
That's approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Items number 2 and 3.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on items 2 or 3? If not, the public hearings are closed. Any discussion, members of council? If not, open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, those ordinances will be back a week from today on second reading because we need 12 on first reading. So they will be back 1 week from today on second reading. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 4.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on item number 4? If not, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion, members of council? This is in Mr. Ridley Thomas's district. Is Mr. Ridley Thomas going to be here? Because this requires a motion.
Mr. Ridley Thomas is excused today.
I think Mr. Burnson was going to make the motion on this.
Mr. Burnson, item 4.
Plum Chair.
All right, Mr. Burnson's moving approval of the committee report. Mr. Hernandez seconds. Any discussion? Open the roll. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
That's approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Items number 5 and 6 on the regular agenda.
Are there any specials 5 and 6, members of council? Any specials 5 or 6? Again, these don't have ordinance. Item 5 has an ordinance, doesn't it? All right, open the roll on item 5. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right. The resolutions are adopted. The ordinance will be before us again 1 week from today on second reading. Open the roll on item number 6. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
It's approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Items for which public hearings have not been held, items 8 through 10, 12, 14 through 19, and 21. There's an ordinance on number 12.
Wait a minute here now. Okay. Which are the one? No, wait. Which ones have not had a public hearing? 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19?
That's correct.
All right. And the others have had hearings. All right. Members of council, first let me ask, I have one request from the audience to be heard on item 20. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address any of the items 7 through 21, let's say? All right, if not, the public hearings will be closed except for item 20. Members of council, are there any specials on members of council? Well, number 11 is a special.
Number 11 and 13.
13 is a special. 10 is a special.
And on item 18, I wanted to move B, the CED report.
Let's just hold that. We'll make that a special.
Is there a report on that?
All right. Then, members of council, are there, if there's no objection, we can open the rolls on item 8,
18,
9, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 21. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right, those were approved, the exception of item 8. The ordinance will be back on second reading 1 week from today.
It's 13. It was 13, not 18.
Since we have someone here from the audience, why don't we go to item number 20, if there's no objection. Let's go to item 20, and then Mr. Buckmelter can lead.
Mr. President, I'm sorry. It was item 13, not 18, that had two committee
All right,
reports.
then without objection, we, well, then we can just open the roll on item 18.
No, I want to hear a report.
On 18?
You want to hear
All right,
18.
then Mr. Holden will probably. All right, item 20, Mr. Buckmelter.
You got to reconsider 13.
Good morning, Honorable City Council members. My name is Jerome Buckmelter, representing Sean Ebenheim, and I will be brief. We are, of course, in support of this ordinance. There was some opposition to the R1 proposed zoning. This was a project that originally had 5 lots, and we voluntarily reduced it at the behest of Councilmember Chick to 4 units, so we have a 20% reduction in that project. We also revised our map, and we have revised it according to R1 standards of development. And I have a copy of the approved revised conditions. We're limited to 4, in 2 different places here. We're limited to 4 lots. So there is a guarantee of only putting in 4 lots here. We also have prepared the final map, street improvement plans, bonded for them, and the houses are already designed for the project as proposed. To change the zoning to anything else would be a hardship and require the applicant and developer to go backwards and start from square one. Lastly, to change the zoning to anything but R1 would be spot zoning. This is a map I'm holding up. You can probably see it. There's a 500-foot radius shown in red. All the yellow is R1. To change the subject property to any other zoning would be spot zoning. And of course, that's a basic tenet of planning and zoning principles and practices, is to avoid spot zoning. So we're requesting that you go forward and please approve the R1 zoning as requested. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Buckmilder. That completes the public hearing. Ms. Chick?
Yes, Mr. President and colleagues, I recommend approval of the project as it was presented to the Plum Committee. The Plum Committee also is reporting to you today with its findings of approval. This is a small project going in on a very difficult parcel of land. We worked very closely with both the developer, the surrounding neighbors, and my neighborhood planning council for that geographic area. And did end up reaching a compromise agreement to reduce the number of homes from 5 to 4 to make sure that they were compatible with the surrounding zoning density, but to make use of a parcel of land that has been sitting as a growing eyesore, and to create needed middle-income single-family housing in a part of the world that clearly has a demand that's not met. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Chick. Open the roll on item 20. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
All right. The report is approved. The ordinance will be back on second reading 1 week from today. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 10 called special by
Ms.
Councilmember
Goldberg,
Goldberg.
you called 10 special for an explanation?
Yes. It might look at first glance like we're rescinding the exemption for police psychologists, and then in the next paragraph, we're exempting police psychologists. Well, that's actually true. It's the 9 positions were full and part-time. The 11 are all full-time. We had an extensive hearing on the exemption process for this particular thing. And while many people believe that there ought to be something more like the city attorney's situation where they are exempt, but they have some rights of retention of their jobs, we were unable to work that out without a charter change, so we did not wish to hold the police department up any longer from filling those much-needed positions, and so I urge an aye vote. But I thought because it looked like we were doing 2 contradictory things that people might want an explanation.
That's happened before. Any further discussion? Open the roll. Close the roll.
It's not actually.
11 ayes.
That's approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 11 called special.
All right, item 11 is a public hearing, and there is one request, so let me call, we have a public hearing, and I have Mr. Tim Sands. Mr. Sands here?
Good morning. My name's Tim Sands, and I would like to speak on agenda item number 11, which is the recommendation to switch from Firm Solutions to Presidium. I am a director of the Los Angeles Police Protective League, in which I represent approximately 9,500 officers of the Los Angeles Police Department, of which the third-party administrator affects. The League has some concerns over the replacement of the third-party administrator, and briefly I would like to address some of those concerns. First of all, the main concern of the Los Angeles Police Protective League is the service that the membership receives from the third-party administrator. The League will admit that the service it was receiving from Firm Solutions when they took over as the third-party administrator was far less than favorable. However, as of late, I would say approximately within the last year, the service and response from Firm Solutions has improved. We now have a direct line of communications with Firm Solutions to handle daily problems as they arise. Also, an example of this improved service is that Firm Solutions representatives and representatives from the city and our members' attorneys meet once a month to resolve pending work compensation cases at the League. I've been told that this program, prior to Firm Solutions taking over, was done routinely also. However, when the third-party administrator took over for some unknown reason, this practice never went with it. The program of meeting once a month has proven to be very successful in that the members' attorneys and representatives from Firm Solutions meet each other face-to-face and resolve the cases which would have normally taken probably months down the road to resolve. This program, the Los Angeles Police Protective League believes, is saving the city and our memberships money in litigation. When I took over as chair of the Workman Comp Committee of the League, the area of concern that I had in regards to the caseworkers and the management of Firm Solutions, really not knowing or having an idea of what police work is all about or what officers do on a daily basis. Now, though, we are working on a program of getting caseworkers and management of Firm Solutions on ride-alongs with officers so that when an officer does call in, that the caseworker or the manager at least has an idea of what this officer goes through on a daily basis. Another concern that the League has is the logistical problem of switching over 6,000 pending work comp cases from one third-party administrator to another. The League feels that the service to the membership, due to this vast task, would be impaired during the transformation period. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the League believes that the competition is good. In combining the police and the fire with one third-party administrator, we believe you're putting all eggs in one basket, essentially eliminating any form of competition. So in conclusion, the League believes that we have worked through a troubled transformation period of handling one third-party administrator, and we are now working together to provide the best service to the officers of the City of Los Angeles. To switch from one third-party administrator to another, in our opinion, would be like starting all over again. To the credit of Presidium, they have committed to the League that their service would be better and that the programs that are now assisting our members would be continued and others would be implemented. However, based on the concerns that I have articulated, the Los Angeles Police Protective League feels to best serve the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department, we recommend that Firm Solutions remains as a third-party administrator rather than starting all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time, and if you have any questions
All
for
right,
me.
thank you, Mr. Sands. There's also now a request to be heard from a Mr. Harold Anderson. Mr. Anderson here.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Harold Anderson, and I'm the Director of Workers' Compensation for Presidium, the personnel department's choice to manage the entire SWORN program through an outside vendor. I come here today to talk to you mainly about the logistical issue that was raised by Mr. Sands, and I want to point out that our experience as an organization has been unrivaled in managing transition files of upwards of 5,000 files for the MTA, and that was a local transition. We transitioned approximately 3,000 files with Continental, which is a nationwide basis. And I will submit to you that this program's transition will not be nearly as difficult for one very important reason. This program is managed from a computer standpoint by a single computer unit. Historically, in transitioning any claim program of any size, the major factor in slowdown has been associated with compatibility of the computer data. That's not the case here. It's just a matter of going through the routine processes that the state of California has outlined that both Presidium and Firm Solutions adhere to, which include prepaying benefits to injured employees, putting together a transition team to actually physically move the files. As I indicated, the computer system is identically the same, and so there is no problem there, and we anticipate that we would be up and running within the 45-day window. Through the Worker Retention Act, as well as recruiting from the JTPA, as we have done 3.5 years ago, we believe that staffing would not be an issue and that we would be ready to move forward with the types of programs we've discussed with the League, that we've discussed with the Police Department, who has an endorsement for us, with the Fire Department, who's lived with us for the last 3.5 years, and certainly with the Personnel Department. And so I would ask that you consider the recommendation from the Personnel Department and move forward on awarding to Presidium simply to enhance and upgrade the services that the city has been delivered for a lesser cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the council on this item? All right, if not, the public hearing is closed. The chair recognizes Councilman Goldberg.
Yes, first I'd like to ask a report from the Personnel Department on this matter. And also,
All right, would you
I think
hold
we
Ms.
need...
Goldberg's time?
I think we also need to hear from the city attorney on item B.
And probably, and is the CEO and the CLA here? They should probably also weigh in. Is there any other staff? Did the staff come to the front table? And Mr. Fujioka, do you want to start?
Thank you very much. Bill Fujioka, the Personnel Department. With me is Diana Britt, who's the Chief of our Workers' Comp Division. We strongly urge that you accept the recommendation to go with one firm at this time, and that firm being Presidium. The one thing I want to emphasize is if you look at the staffing model that's in the council report, the Presidium model calls for a significantly larger number of professional claims adjusters versus the firm solution model, which calls for a greater number of clerical workers, those numbers being 71 professional claim staff for Presidium, 58 for firm, whereas 11 clerical staff for Presidium, and then 21 for firm solution. That alone speaks to the quality of the professional level that will be brought, of services that will be brought by this new vendor. I heard comments from, there's also two nurses for case management, and in talking to our consultant yesterday, Coopers & Lybrand Price Waterhouse, a critical element in controlling medical costs is having that case management or case or medical utilization review process in our program. This boils down to some very basic but very significant economic factors. This contract, if we can go forward, and we need to go forward now, can save up to $2 million for this program, but we think a minimum of $1.5 million. Now, the difference in the two contracts is not very significant, but we've been asked to save money wherever we can for this program. This is what we're trying to do. We did start the model where we had 2 TPAs and an in-house model. We're ready now to go with just 2. 1 TPA in our in-house model. It's also, we've had, with due respect to the representative from the League, and I know the League knows that, I work very closely with them. But over the past few months, we've received very serious concerns from the League regarding the performance of Firm Solution. But I didn't want to really get into performance issues. I want to talk about the basic economic issues, but please focus on the staffing, the difference in the staffing patterns. There's a difference between having clerical people process paperwork versus having professional claims adjusters handling cases. We think, aside from the obvious economic benefits, the quality of the professional services provided by the claims adjusters will have an even greater effect on our ability to control costs for the fire and police sworn cases. Diana, do you have anything to add? That's it. Thank you very much.
All right, is there anyone here? Is the city attorney, CLA, CO here on this? Anyone here on this?
Mr. President, I can answer questions if...
All right, Chair, Ms. Goldberg, I held your time, so you're up now.
The only question would be the alternative to awarding this would be to, which is item B, which would be to instruct the Personnel Department to request the 5 final bidders on the TPA to submit their best and final offer with the understanding that there will be 2 prevailers in the city. I've been led to believe by a member of the city attorney's office that we cannot do that.
No, you may not
We could throw the whole thing out and start
You-
over again.
You can throw the whole thing out, start all over again, and I understand that this RFP does allow more than one contract to be awarded, so you could, but if you were to do it on this one, you would have to do it on the basis
On
of
the
what
terms.
their terms and the
Right,
basis and
right.
their bids are now. You can, when you go out, if you decide to reject all bids and go to another RFP, you can have the same request that it go to more than one party,
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
they can look at that.
I'm going to move A and ask for an aye vote for A, because I think we have a personnel department that has said that they are trying to be cost-effective and cost-efficient. I can tell you, and it's not talking out of school because the Police Protective League said the same thing, we had a lot of trouble with the bidder that is not going to be awarded today for a long time. Now, it's true they've gotten better. In fact, I had discussions with the personnel department about maybe even defaulting them on the 30-day quit provision in our contracts because I was getting so many complaints. Now that's been fixed, it is true, but I don't think that it is a good reason to keep them on when we can save money, and the recommendation of the panel is to have one inside and one outside provider of worker comp administration, and I think that's what we should try. There's certainly nothing, and it would not take us long to add a second one if it is not successful, but I think we have a personnel department who thinks that this is a good way to go, and unless, I've had virtually no reason to doubt their expertise on this matter, so I would urge an aye vote for A and would move it.
Chair recognizes Mr. Burnson.
Yes, members of the council, in all due respect to both organizations which have demonstrated good performance, even though there may have been some problems back over a year ago, it seems to me that, and particularly in light of the fact that the police seem to be happy and want to retain the company that has been serving them, that I thought it was wise to maintain the status quo, if possible. Now, there is the question of a difference in cost that's been brought up by the Personnel Department. And what I was suggesting is that we perhaps allow, and we can't omit the original bidders, but if we could ask all 5 of the original bidders to come back with proposals that will better the situation, and I believe we can do that legally, can we not?
No.
You said no?
No.
Okay, in that case, I will move that we extend the contracts, the 2 existing contracts, for a period of, let's see, for a period of 90 days, and we then, I'm trying to figure. We'll have to reject all bids and go out to bid again? Okay, then I move that we, and how long will it take? That'll take us 6 months, right? How long will that take us, 6 months?
Minimum 6 months.
Okay, what's that? But if we run short, we can always extend it again, is that correct? I move that we extend the existing contracts for 6 months, and that we go back out to bid on both of these particular proposals. And that would be my motion.
Second. Chair recognizes Councilman Fuhrer.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, all of us, and Mr. Burnson certainly reflected this in his remarks, want to take seriously the goals of the people being served by these systems. One of the comments that Mr. Sands made was that the current bidder, the current contractor, has improved service and is being more sensitive than was formerly the case to the special needs of our sworn personnel, in this case the police. Does Presidium, the selected bidder, have other experience with police officers in other jurisdictions? As well as fire. We heard fire here.
Yes, they do. In addition to MTA, they have a number of smaller jurisdictions around the county of Los Angeles.
So they actually, no, excuse me, guys.
They did.
With due respect, my time. So because I think the question, would we be having to retrain a new contractor on the special needs of police officers is a fair question, to which you are responding, I guess, by saying they have police experience elsewhere in addition to fire experience here in the city. Is that a fair statement or not? 'Cause
They clearly
I
have
have not been
expertise.
close to this. I want to be sure I understand it.
They clearly have the expertise.
All right. Well, it seems to me that given the important point about service to the people we care about the most, and that is our law enforcement personnel, in this case, if the police as well as the fire are getting this. Mr. Fujioka is saying, look, they are getting one quality of service now in a heavily administrative clerk-laden system, and they could be moving to an approach under which they would get much more specialized service at a higher level from the new contractor. Is that one of the points you're making, Mr. Fujioka?
Absolutely.
And the important comment that the new contractor has that police experience, which all of us take seriously, because if you guys are going to get served properly, you have to have someone who has that experience. That's a well-taken point, but it sounds like Presidium has that. And was there a significant difference in the quality of the proposals?
Yes, especially in the area of staffing. But with respect to the satisfaction factor, at the request of this council, we sent a survey out.
Speaking to the mic, Bill.
At the request of this council, with respect to the satisfaction issue, at the respect of this council, we sent a survey out to the actual users, to our police officers and firefighters. Over 50% rated this firm unsatisfactory.
The current contractor?
Yes.
Unsatisfactory.
Over 50% rated this firm unsatisfactory.
Do you have any similar statistics regarding the experience of Presidium elsewhere? Has there been any survey done of customer satisfaction for them?
We had the survey for the firefighters responding to a survey.
All right, what was the result of that survey?
There's approximately 60% were in favor of this.
We're
pleased
satisfied.
with the,
well, see, we have to be attentive to what our sworn personnel are telling us, and when combined with recommendations about saving money and improving quality of service, and not just a hope but experience there, I'm listening to this and saying I think the recommendation to go with option A is the right recommendation.
And the other thing that I'd asked you to consider, if we delay this for the minimum 6 months, up to 9 months, we stated that we can save up to 1.5 to as much as 2 million. So every month, it's a minimum of 60 to 70, as much as
Bill, just as I conclude my time,
100,000.
for what it's worth, the cost savings is very significant. I would not vote for that cost savings alone if it were accompanied by a diminished quality of service.
Understand.
What my vote is turning on is your statement that you anticipate a better quality of service, that customer surveys reflect that, and that the current customer survey of the existing contractor does not reflect that, and that this company has prior police experience. That's where the action is.
All right.
It's service to our people.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in support of the Chair of Personnel Committee's recommendation, and after the series of comments and questions and answers that my colleague, Mr. Fuhr, just asked, really, I don't see what else is left to discuss, colleagues. We are trying very hard to scrutinize and take care of the bottom line. We all know about the budget cycle for next year that we're going into. We all know the kinds of things that we can't do and need to do in terms of increasing services to our constituents. And so in terms of that very important bottom line, I do not see how we can go against the recommendation of our expert staff and the chair of the committee that most relates to these issues. In addition to which, the comments on quality of service. And I also want to voice, along with the Chair of Personnel, as your Chair of Public Safety, that while not recently, I also heard from a variety of officers some horror stories about situations with the firm that we are not renewing with, including one involving our very special bomb squad officer who became a paraplegic in an accident, a car accident on the freeway as he was rushing to detonate a potential dangerous bomb. The problems that he had in terms of having his case resolved border on shameful. I do want to clarify that finally someone that I became acquainted with Firm Solutions did step to to fix the situation. But I don't think that's the way we should be able to rely on our contractees through personal relationships with council members. So I urge a unanimous vote. I truly don't understand how we can do anything but support, I believe, A, is it? Yes. A. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Alatorre.
Mr. President, members, I mean, I think this body can do just about anything that they want to do. I think the issue is whether the firms that are being spoken about are qualified to do the work. I would hope that you do not try to infer that because somebody has done work with MTA Police Department, then MTA Police Department, that all of a sudden that they're familiar with the work of the size of a police department like Los Angeles. Now, you know, I don't care what firm would ever begin to do this. There is a time period that it takes just to be able to figure out what they're doing. Now, it seems to me that we're talking about a department or a group of men and women from the department who we heard the representative that said, yes, there are problems. Just like the horror stories we can talk about when the city had this and the horror stories that they had with the way it was being done. And we had it for a long time, and we had nothing but horror stories. But those things have been remedied. Now, nobody is going to tell me that I don't care what new body gets this, would get this, that we're not going to have nothing but a multitude of problems with it. Just getting used to it, getting used to working with the men and women of the department, with the Police Protective League, and everything else. All of that has already been done. Those problems that you talked about have been rectified. Now, I don't care where you talk about that it's, more administrative versus clerical and the like. We had nothing but administrative when we were doing it, and look at the horror stories that we had with that. So the mere fact that you're going to have more, quote, more administrative people working on it, that you're going to have a better operation, that begs the question, because it certainly didn't work when the city of Los Angeles had it, and we had nothing but problems with that. So I look at it this way. Is we weren't exactly the most cooperative when we gave it to them. I mean, we had our own problems in them being able to work with us to be able to do the job that they're supposed to do. So it seems to me, now if all you want to do is have a prescription for failure and ultimately have the city take it back, why don't we be a little more forthright and say that's what we want to do? Because I think that's really the direction that we're moving in. And that, to me, I think is ridiculous. I believe that we already have a body that had their problems, because this is a gigantic department, and have had their problems, but they have, as the police, and they're the ones that are the clients. The city, the personnel department isn't the client. The men and women of the department are the clients. And if they're saying that they are now satisfied with them, then what is wrong with that? That, to me, I think, to me, is a little bit more honest. And I would go along with the recommendation and the motion that is being made by Mr. Burnson.
Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
I just wanted to ask the Personnel Department, what's the difference between going with both firms, extending the contract for both firms, and staying with one?
$1.5 to $2 million if we extend the current contract.
To extend, so
Over a
we
3-year period.
save 1.5 to $2 million.
Over a 3-year period.
Okay. Now, and again, my inclination right now, so that everybody knows, is to basically go with a recommendation of the Personnel Committee. The reason I feel I have to do that is, one, we had a firm that had the contract who had a track record that was questioned and then improved. Now we have a new firm that's coming in that basically is going to be looking at that reality. Is if they don't provide the quality service up front, they're going to change. They're going to be changed. I also think it's important that we recognize that the reality is we have a difficult class of employees in terms of this kind of service, and we want the best quality service to be provided to them. So now my next question is, if the new firm that comes in is not providing that service, how is it that we can change that?
We made significant improvements to our contract monitoring process. We have a unit. As a consequence of last year's budget, we were able to add 2 people to that unit. We were at the different locations on a regular basis. We have performance standards we put in place. We are watching them very carefully. That's a critical element of our overall workers' compensation
And so
program.
what you're saying is if the quality of the service is not at the level that we expect or that the Police Protective League expects, we'll be able to terminate that agreement.
Yes, plus there are penalties built into the contract that we would immediately apply to whomever this consulate chooses to ensure that we get their attention and we bring that performance level up to the appropriate standard.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments?
All right, Mr. Wax.
No.
Let me just ask you, why,
Jackie, you're next.
if your concern is in part the cost savings, why don't you have Presidium or an equally good TPA do the non-civilian city employees? Why do you retain jurisdiction over all the non-civilian city employees if they can do a better job on the outside?
You're talking about the entire program. We feel that the structure we have now, where it's both in-house and out-house, outside consultants, we're able to compare and
I don't think that
establish-
was more than...
That was not a Freudian slip.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're able to compare and establish benchmarks from which both the 2 entities, our in-house program and our outside program, compete. I feel that program makes for a very, very strong program. I would not advocate bringing everything in-house. I
If
would
they
not
can do
that,
it better
nor would
than
I
you,
send
why...
everything out.
Well, the point is I don't think that you've ever really made a meaningful analysis and evaluation of comparing the 2. Part of this was a system we started with a situation where the personnel department ran a nightmare of a system, and you weren't here then, so you don't take the blame for that. But I think it was well documented that there were serious problems and serious deficiencies in the way that the program was being run. One of the reasons we went out to TPAs was to try to bring about some changes. And rather than, in the original proposal by I believe the CAO and I think even the county, was to put all of it in the hands of a TPA. The compromise was a portion into 2 TPAs and the rest into personnel, and that we would over time do a meaningful benchmarking and a meaningful evaluation of the comparison of both the 2 outside TPAs and the personnel department. I don't believe that that's been done, and certainly not the Price Waterhouse study they talked about is that kind of an analysis. And I'm saying to you, I'm not here so much concerned between Firm Solutions and Presidium, but if Presidium is as good as you say they are, then you may have an obligation to this city to put the whole program in the hands of either Presidium or comparable TPAs if they're able to run it better and more efficiently than you are able to run the system for the rest of the employees that you manage. And that's been something that your department has not been willing to come to grips with. And that's something that could involve far more than $2 million that we're talking about now, dealing with just the police department on these 2 contracts. And I'm really concerned, Mr. Fujioka, that you really haven't addressed the fundamental issue of whether either you or the TPAs are operating as efficiently as possible. And that includes the city attorney is going to have to get involved into this, because a big part of the issue is the involvement of the city attorneys in this process, and how it would be done on the outside versus how it's being done on the inside. So I'm still concerned that we're fighting over something that is sort of small potatoes, Ms. Goldberg, in the context of the big pie here, which has been the way that the workers' comp system was run in the past, and the failure to really correct a good part of what was wrong and to achieve the kind of savings. Now, on the other hand, if it's the opposite, then maybe it should all go back to you. I don't know. But at some point, you need that meaningful benchmarking, that meaningful analysis of who can do it better, you or the best of the TPAs. And that I haven't seen yet.
Can I respond?
All right.
Can I?
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President? Can Can I respond real quickly?
Mr. President, members, one question to the personnel general manager. Well, when did this contract first go out to this firm that has it now, the firm? How many years ago?
The fall of 1995.
1995. This is 1999. In all fairness to Mr. Fukuyoshi, Fukuyoshi,
You're close.
Fuchioka, Mr. Wax, he wasn't even here when this went out.
I acknowledge that.
And to try to hold his feet to the fire now would be rather unfair. It's a problem that he's trying to fix. So, you know, I don't know how you're going to look at this in past history and put the blame on the current general manager. That's all I can say.
Thank you. I'd like to make a quick comment.
Yes, go ahead. Say whatever you want to say.
Thank you very much. With respect to your comments, sir, I'd like to get by this issue first and ask for the approval of our original recommendation. With respect to your study, I agree, a study should be made. I'd also would urge this council not to use the total cost for this program as the principal criteria for measuring the success of this program. We have made significant improvements to both the manner in which we administer this program, but also the quality of services provided to the injured city employee. We've had employees who were not receiving their state-mandated benefits, were not receiving rehabilitation benefits, were not receiving their payments in a timely manner, were not receiving appropriate medical care. That, to me, should be the principal focus. Cost is important because it has a huge impact on the city and the city's general fund. But it troubles me that we constantly look at the dollar amount as the bottom line, whereas the quality of the program has improved immensely. But what you're asking for is what we're planning to do at the beginning of the year. But one thing I also want to emphasize is that with a TPA, we can mandate caseload levels. In the contract, it's mandated that each adjuster for the TPAs, whomever we get, should be at the 200 or the state recommended level. Our staff has never been able to reach that level. We're hovering about 240 to 250, which in itself has a significant impact on how we handle the cases. But the thing that, if we do conduct this analysis, and I know that myself, and I'm more than ready to have you hold my feet, my hands, whatever to the fire. I take responsibility for this program, but the one thing, if I'm held accountable for this program, I would want the same level of say, if not authority, but also a very strong commitment from the city to start a prevention program, a safety program, and a very comprehensive return to work program mandated by all departments.
Those were all parts of what was recommended more than a year or 2 years ago. That was exactly what we adopted to go ahead with.
I understand, and that's what we've been asked to do, but we have come forward. I think every single department, you can ask me to do it. I can go to a department and say, start a prevention program, improve your safety program, look at workstations, until it's ordered by the governing body.
We ordered it. The administration is only one part. The rest, all the things you just mentioned were ordered by this council, and I'm going to let Ms. Goldberg speak to it because she's dying to speak to this, and those were the very things the council ordered as a part of a multifaceted reform of the workers' comp system. Ms. Goldberg?
And in fact, that's underway. The Civilian Coalition of Unions has been working with the department and is about how many months, a month or two away from a report?
A month to 6 weeks.
A month to 6 week away from the report. We're having a little more trouble with sworn because there's less voluntarism in being involved in such a discussion of how to do this. Well, I'm being candid, that we have to get to that point. But we, in this council, agreed with a cut by the mayor of safety employees whose job it was to do prevention. And I hate to say I told you so, but I said that if we don't do prevention, we're never going to get a handle on this. We have not gotten yet all of the pieces together for a return to work program, but that is being worked on by personnel. And I asked them for periodic reports, and we are going to be taking that up as well. It's a large package. The difficulty is always when one firm has had a contract and is not about to get it. We get right up to this moment, and then at some point we just can't do it and go along with the process, and we want to try to go back and say, well, no, we want everybody to have a little piece of the action. That just is not the way to run a business, and this is a business in terms of workers' comp. Now, inside versus outside, I still think that story has not been told completely yet, and we are working on it. But I will tell you that I do not believe it should ever be all outside or all inside. And the reason I say that is because there are benchmarking against each other. You know, we in the school district, and I believe Mrs. Walters will remember, we never had 100% of the contract and 100% of the bus driving inside. We never had it 100% outside, because that balance, A, gives you flexibility, but B, it also gave you an opportunity to have a little competition about how much it should cost to do what kind of work. I think that the inside-outside contractors has made the personnel department more efficient, but I will tell you one of the reasons they were less efficient before wasn't just poor practices in management, although there was some of that. It was that their caseload was 10 or 12 times the amount that private industry would ever allow. And that's part of what we've changed, is we've changed the caseload, which is why they've gotten better. So all of those things being true, I would urge that we do what they recommend, which is to save a little bit of money, to go with their panel's recommendation, having looked at the firms. I will tell you, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about saying that one firm is not any good. That is not true. I'm saying those problems did occur, and we had to take them into account. But both firms are competent. The reason to do this is because we believe we can save some money and increase the level of service at the same time. That's the reason to do this, and I urge an aye vote on A.
Chair recognizes Councilman Bernson.
Yeah, you know, I want to, first of all, I think Mr. Fujioka and the department have done due diligence on this, and I respect the recommendation. But there is a contradiction to what you said, and that was that this is not just about money, okay? You just said that. And Mrs. Goldberg has said that both firms are doing a good job now. And I respect that. But I also respect the fact that the 9,000 police officers who are represented by this prefer to have the representation they have now. I think that we need to take that into consideration. Also, the study that's being done, that's going to be ready in about a month or so, you said, approximately? The overall study on how to handle this?
The Joint Labor Management
Yes,
Committee's
that's about a month away?
About a month away.
This fits right into the proposal that I made to extend this for 6 months. Excuse me, please. We'll have a recommendation from you. I understand, we may have to extend this a little further, I don't know, because it may take time to go out for RFP, but maybe this needs to be extended to a point where we get the entire picture, and then we look at it on a global picture for the whole thing. I don't have a problem with that. My big problem is that you have an organization that's doing a job for 9,000 officers now that they're happy with. And by your own words, it's not just about dollars. And obviously, we're concerned about dollars. We don't know. We know that Presidium has done an excellent job with the firefighters. Nobody is questioning that. And nobody has even attempted to take that away from them. The question is whether they could do the same type of job, multiplying that by about 300%, because that's what we're talking about in the amount of personnel. So there are some questions. This is not without risk, either way. And we have the ability to make a change if, even on the extension, we have the ability to make a change at that point if the current level of service that seems to be satisfied doesn't continue. I suggest that we do continue this for 6 months on a month-to-month basis, with both being renewed, and we explore. I'm going to. You might. I don't know whether you can start preparing an RFP now, but perhaps we may want to extend that even further till we can really analyze the results of the management study that you're doing. So I would urge that we support the motion that I've made, because I think that if we're only talking about a few dollars here, and we're talking about a system that's preferred by the rank-and-file police officers, that we ought to give some respect to that, and I would urge an aye vote on my motion.
And Chair recognizes Councilwoman Galanter.
I move the previous question on the entire matter.
All right. Is there objection to the previous question?
No objection.
Open the roll on the previous question. Open the roll on the previous question. Close the roll.
11 ayes.
Previous question's been adopted. See what happens when everyone has to go to Washington? Open the roll. First on would be which? Mr. Bernson's motion.
Ask for an aye vote. Aye vote.
Open the roll on Mr. Bernson's motion. Close the roll.
4 ayes, 7 noes.
All right, that's not approved. Now open the roll, clear it, and open the roll on Ms. Goldberg's motion.
No vote.
Open the roll on Ms. Goldberg's motion. Close the roll.
7 ayes, 4 noes.
All right, the matter will be before us 1 week from today. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 13, called special.
Who called number 13 special? Mr. Hernandez. Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. President. The reason I called 13 special was for purposes of moving item B of the report before us. It includes everything item A does. It just also asks that they report back to the CED committee once the call for projects has been approved.
All right, is there any objection to, then, is there any discussion? Open the roll on Mr. Hernandez's motion. Close the roll.
10 ayes.
That's approved. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Item number 18, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, item 18.
Before you start my time, may I have a report on that and why we're doing it, et cetera? And what impact it's going to have on the convention center doing business?
Well, unfortunately, we've just lost a quorum, Mr. Holden, and Mr. Hernandez also has to go. So all items left on the agenda will be... well, then you...
Anybody come back for 1 second?
Could you see if Mr. Alatorre could come back in, but... No, Ms. Chick is not the problem. She's not the problem. We're looking for Mr. Alatorre. Mr. Alatorre.
No, we don't. Yes, we do. We need Alatorre. Could you, because the police department has requested this motion. Yeah, hustle, Ron. Joel, thanks for holding on the desk for us 1 second, okay?
Yeah, I'll hold it just as long as you can.
Yeah, it's a police reward motion that they were requesting. Joel, thanks.
See if either Ms. Walters or Mr. Alatorre could come back in for the special.
Yeah. It'll take about a minute. What? For a second? What about Rita?
They're all going to get
just for a second.
They all went to get a plane to Washington.
It'll take 1 extra minute.
I know, but they have to. Well, we'll just wait to see if they can get them in here and find them. They didn't shoot. Yeah, they'll go forthwith.
No, wait, no, they gotta get Alatorre's not gonna come in. Back for a second, for a moment. What? That's fair.
We're just waiting to see, Hal, we're waiting to see if Mr. Alatorre will come back. So just hang on. Well, hopefully they'll get him right, because Mr. Hernandez has a plane to catch too, so hang on. If he can come in, we can do it. If not, we're not going to be able to.
Mike?
Okay. Mr. Hernandez has a plane too, so.
Trying to do this.
I have an adjourning motion.
Well, let's hope we can get Mr. Alatorre back here and finish this. Mr. Fuhrer, if not, you can put up the reward yourself on the knowledge that you'll surely get it back next week. Mortgage the house, mortgage the kids.
I was on KNX radio. Oh, I actually thought they used that. Well, on KNX they used me. That's like Stan.
All right, it's not going to work, Mr. Fuhrer. But I think that I really do think you safely could say that the council will approve it and go ahead with the idea that there will be a reward. And I think 8 of us would be willing to sign something saying we will vote for a reward in this terrible matter when it comes back up.
Mr. Wax, I would caution you about that, but I think that Mr. Fuhrer could say that he's got a motion pending and in the council.
I just want to say, Joel, thank you.
All right. We're not, because the council's members are going to be in Washington next Tuesday and Wednesday, the next meeting will be next Friday. State your point.
Since I know we have to pass this when we come back in session, but if all of us were to sign this thing today, I think it would show intent. We'd have at least 8 signatures.
7 signatures.
Seven
would be
signatures.
good.
7 signatures.
Well, the
okay?
7 of you can sign it, and I'll tell you that I intend to vote for it.
Okay, fine. Bring it around and let's sign it.
Voluntarily tell you that.
Okay.
And we'll put up the money in the meanwhile if you need it. Okay, that's it. Council's adjourned. Well, we can if you want to do it without. All right. Would the audience and the council please rise for adjourning motions? Ms. Goldberg?
Yes, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Billy Jack Gaither, age 39, who in Sylacauga, Alabama, was murdered, beaten to death with an axe handle because he was gay. 2 people have come forward and have admitted to this heinous crime. And it is, again, just overwhelming that, and they beat him and then they burned him. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I neglected to mention that. They burned his body with old tires after beating him to death with an axe handle. There will be a memorial service and rally this Sunday. The rally at 7, the march at 8 at MCC Church in Santa Monica and West Hollywood. And I would urge listeners as well as my colleagues who can be available to join us. I think it's important for the outcry to not just come from the gay and lesbian community.
All members.
I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but I'm just...
All members on that. Ms. Chick?
I would like to ask us, colleagues, to adjourn in memory of, I'm missing Mr. Abraham Kanoa and his son, Phil Kanoa, with Building and Safety Department, has lost his father, Abraham, who is survived by his wife, Doris, 1 daughter, 3 sons, 9 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. He was raised in Hawaii and worked as a truck mechanic for over 30 years and also served in the Hawaiian National Guard. And then I'd also like to ask that we adjourn in memory of a very, very outstanding and unusual and special woman, Elsie Cady, a constituent of mine from Reseda.
I want to be a co-sponsor on this, if you would, please. I've known the family personally for many,
Have
many,
you?
many years. Yes.
Well, and colleagues, this woman passed away at the age of 106. She has been a resident of Reseda since 1923. She was very instrumental in founding Reseda's first library in 1924, the first Bank of Reseda, the first United Methodist Church of Reseda, and the Reseda Women's Club. She has 3 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren. I visited with her on her birthday last year, and what a phenomenal role model in terms of how sharp she was and how loving and giving she remained.
I suggest we all follow in her footsteps.
Yes.
Mr. Burnson?
Yeah, I just want to add a little bit to that because I knew the family very well. Her son, Gordon, was my insurance carrier for all the years until he passed away. And he passed away several years ago, I guess maybe 10 or 12 years ago. But the family was an outstanding family in Reseda. Gordon owned the property where I guess the second McDonald's ever founded in Southern California on Sherman Way was located. And this woman was a real pioneer in our community, an outstanding person.
Thanks.
All right. Mr. Ridley Thomas has asked that I adjourn in memory, and I would ask all the council members to join me in adjourning in the memory of George Hewley, who was the Chief of Special Investigation in the Community Development Department. His work has been lauded by the FBI, the Inspectors General, the Department of Housing, and last week he was honored for 35 years of outstanding service. He was unfortunately killed in a motorcycle accident on Saturday and leaves his wife, 4 children, and 9 grandchildren. Memorial services are planned for Saturday, March 6th at noon at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, and I'll give the clerk the rest of the information. Call the roll, Mr. Clerk. All right, council is adjourned.
You are watching LA City View, Channel 35.